Welcome back. Lincoln currency. This rumor has captured the imagination of collectors and casual viewers alike. People are searching through jars, tearing open coin rolls, flipping couch cushions, all hoping to find that one fabled cent. But today, we're diving deep, very deep, into the story behind the 2015 Lincoln penny. We're separating fact from fiction. And we're going to uncover the surprising truths hiding in plain sight about one of the most common coins in modern America. So take a seat, hold on to your change jar, and let's get into the story of a penny that's either the biggest myth in numismatics, or a symbol of something much deeper in American coin history. To understand why a coin like this could be rumored to be worth so much, you need to understand the roots of the Lincoln cent itself. The penny is America's longest-running coin design, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. This marked the first time in U.S. history that a real person appeared on a regular issue circulating coin. The man behind that first design was Victor David Brenner, a sculptor and medalist born in Lithuania. His initials, VDB, became both iconic and, at the time, controversial, leading to their removal and then quiet reinstatement in later issues. For over half a century, Lincoln's portrait was accompanied by two wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and agricultural abundance. Then in 1959, for Lincoln's 150th birthday, the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, a more formal and stately symbol of the president's legacy. That reverse stuck around for another 50 years until 2009, a special year for penny collectors. In 2009, to celebrate Lincoln's bicentennial, the U.S. Mint released 4 different reverse designs, each highlighting a chapter of Lincoln's life: his log cabin childhood, his formative years, his professional life, and his presidency. But in 2010, something new arrived. A fresh chapter. A bold redesign for a new generation. That design? The Union Shield, the current reverse of the Lincoln penny, the Shield cent, was designed by artist Lyndall Bass and sculpted by Joseph Mena. It features a large heraldic shield with 13 vertical stripes, representing the original colonies, joined by a horizontal bar symbolizing unity under one government. Across the shield is a single scroll bearing the inscription, 1 cent. Above the shield, as always, is United States of America. But why this design? Why a shield? The answer lies in symbolism. The shield is a direct reference to the preservation of the Union, a cause for which Lincoln famously gave his life. The reverse is meant to reflect strength, unity, and resilience. The Mint intended this new design to carry forward Lincoln's legacy in a more subtle, symbolic way than previous designs. It's simple, but it carries weight, and let's talk about that weight, literally. The 2015 Lincoln penny weighs approximately 2.5 grams. It's composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, with a copper-plated surface giving it that iconic reddish shine. This has been the standard composition since 1982, when the Mint moved away from solid copper due to rising metal costs. Ironically, the penny now costs more to make than it's worth, almost twice as much per unit. In fact, it's one of the reasons why debates about eliminating the penny altogether have intensified in recent years. Now let's zero in on the 2015 specifically. The Mint mark indicates that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the major U.S. Mint facilities. In 2015, Denver produced a staggering 4.45 billion Lincoln Shield cents. That's billion, with a B. Combine that with the 4.8 billion from Philadelphia and you've got nearly 9.3 billion pennies minted in that year alone. So clearly, scarcity isn't the reason people are talking about a $32 million valuation. So where does this story come from? Why do people think a common 2015 penny might be worth tens of millions? It starts, as many myths do, with a misunderstanding, a confusion between legitimate rare coins, internet hoaxes, misinterpreted auction listings, and sensational YouTube videos with clickbait titles. Some of these videos show headlines like, "This penny sold for $32 million, without any backing. No auction house. No certified proof. Nothing but a catchy thumbnail, a wide-eyed reaction, and maybe some dramatic background music. These viral claims have no basis in numismatic fact. There is no 2015 D penny that has sold for $32 million at any recognized coin auction or numismatic event. It's simply not true, and yet, this myth persists. People want to believe that they could be holding a fortune without realizing it. And to be fair, there are pennies, just not this one, that can sell for 5, 6, even 7 figures. A 1943 copper Lincoln cent famously sold for over $1 million. A pristine 1909 SVDB can fetch tens of thousands. And some coins with rare mint errors or in unbelievably perfect condition can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, even from recent years. So, while the average 2015 D penny is worth exactly what it says, 1 cent, there's more to the story. Certain rare variants, error coins, and minting anomalies can carry significant premiums. But you have to know what to look for. The value is in the details. Let's return to the idea of symbolism one more time. The Lincoln Shield cent is, in many ways, a story of America's own identity crisis. It's a coin that was redesigned to represent unity, yet lives in a time of political division. It's a coin that's literally worth less than the cost of its materials, yet millions of them are made every year. It's a coin people want to believe is secretly priceless, when in fact, its worth lies in what it represents, not what it sells for. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 2015 D pennies are created equal. There are those with rare errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, retained cut breaks, or doubling on the obverse or reverse. These errors, when authenticated and graded by reputable services like PCGS or NGC, can command real premiums, hundreds of dollars in the right condition. And in the world of modern numismatics, these small differences make all the difference. In the next part of our journey, we'll dive deeper into these anomalies, real auction sales, and the hidden potential of coins you may already own. And you'll see how some people have turned penny hunting into a serious, even profitable, passion. Now that we've peeled back the myth and traced the roots of the Lincoln cent, it's time to look at what truly separates a 1-cent coin from something worth real money, sometimes hundreds, even thousands of times its face value. And no, it's still not the fabled $32 million fantasy, but the truth is far more interesting, and far more real. Let's start with how these coins are made. Every coin in circulation begins its life at one of the U.S. Mint's high-capacity production facilities. In the case of the 2015 D Lincoln penny, that's the Denver Mint. The process starts with raw planchets, round metal discs made of 97.5% zinc and coated with 2.5% copper. These blanks weigh approximately 2.5 grams and are prepared for striking by going through an annealing process, which softens the metal. Then they're cleaned, dried, and loaded into massive coin presses capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute. Once the planchets are in position, 2 steel dies, one for the obverse, one for the reverse, slam down on the blank with tremendous force, imprinting the final design. This striking pressure can reach 35 to 50 tons depending on the denomination. The obverse shows the profile of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, as designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. The reverse, of course, is the Union Shield introduced in 2010. Above the shield, United States of America. Across it, 1 cent. And underneath the date, a small D, indicating Denver. Now, with billions of coins being struck under immense pressure and rapid production speeds, mistakes are bound to happen. These mistakes, known in the numismatic world as mint errors, are where the real intrigue begins. Let's go over some of the most sought-after errors found on Lincoln cents, particularly on 2015 D examples. One of the most recognizable errors is the off-center strike. This occurs when the planchet is not properly centered between the dies during striking. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, these coins can be dramatically misaligned, sometimes showing only half the design. A 2015 D penny with a 20% off-center strike in mint state, MS-62, has been documented selling for over $120. Another type of error is the die break or cut error. These occur when part of the die cracks or breaks off, leaving a raised blob or deformation on the coin's surface. Some of these cut errors appear along the rim, creating odd shapes that break up the clean, circular form of the coin. A 2015 D with a prominent rim cut in MS-65 condition once sold for over $310, more than 30,000 times its face value. Then there are double die errors. These are caused when the die itself was improperly manufactured, resulting in doubling of letters, numbers, or design features. True double dies are rare, and when found, they can become incredibly valuable. Collectors look for doubling especially in the words, "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date. Although no major double die has been confirmed for the 2015 D issue, minor varieties are still being investigated and catalogued by dedicated collectors. There's also something called struck-through errors. These happen when foreign material like grease, thread, or debris gets between the die and the planchet during striking. This results in unusual impressions, voids, or ghost-like images on the coin. While harder to identify for beginners, some struck-through errors on Lincoln cents have sold for hundreds depending on the clarity and uniqueness of the impression. What's important to remember is that not every irregular coin is valuable. In fact, most imperfections, scratches, discoloration, stains, are signs of post-mint damage, which actually lowers a coin's value. Real mint errors happen during the production process at the mint, and they follow specific known patterns that expert graders can authenticate, which brings us to a very important point: coin grading. Coins are graded on a numerical scale from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale. A coin graded MS-70 is considered a perfect mint state specimen, flawless under 5x magnification. Coins graded MS-60 and higher are classified as mint state, meaning they've never been in circulation. These coins retain their original luster and detail, and the fewer the imperfections, the higher the grade, and the price. For modern coins like the 2015 D penny, the real value emerges around MS-66 and higher. At MS-65, a red RD example might fetch $1 to $5 on online auction sites. At MS-67, the price can jump significantly, often selling for $35 or more. And while this might not sound like much compared to the $32 million myth, it's still thousands of times more than face value, especially when you consider that collectors often find high-grade examples in bank rolls or uncirculated mint sets. Now let's talk color. Lincoln cents are also classified by their color designation, which has a big impact on value. Brown, BN, red-brown, RB, and red, RD, refer to the coin's surface tone, caused by oxidation or exposure. A fresh penny with a brilliant reddish luster is considered red and typically commands the highest premium. A brown coin might have the same grade numerically, but its color knocks off a significant portion of its value. Let's take an example. A 2015 D Lincoln Shield cent in MS-67 RD, meaning mint state, grade 67, red coloration, can command as much as $35 to $50, depending on market conditions. The same coin in MS-66 RD may fetch about $10 to $15, while the MS-65 RD example could go for $1 to $5. However, if you find that same coin with a dramatic mint error, say, 25% off-center or a massive die cut, you could be looking at $150 to $300, even for a relatively common date like 2015 D. What makes all this even more exciting is that you don't need to be a professional to start. Many collectors use basic tools, good lighting, a 10x loupe, digital calipers, a scale, and some coin reference guides, to begin searching. Some even film their hunts on YouTube, building entire communities around the thrill of the find, and yes, that includes 2015 D pennies. So far, thousands of 2015 D cents have been submitted to grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. As of today, PCGS has certified over 4,000 specimens of the 2015 D Lincoln cent in MS-65 and higher. Only a tiny handful reach the elite grade of MS-68 RD, and these are often snapped up by registry collectors looking to complete the highest possible sets. That scarcity at the highest levels is what gives the coin potential collector value, even if the mintage is massive. In other words, the coin itself isn't rare, but flawless examples are. Especially when paired with an error. So how do you find them? Simple, you start looking. You can get coin rolls from banks. Search through your change. Visit estate sales, antique stores, flea markets, coin shows. You never know when a small difference, barely visible to the naked eye, can turn a 1-cent coin into a $100 or $300 fine. It's part detective work, part education, and part luck. But it's accessible. Anyone can do it. That's what makes numismatics so addicting for many collectors. So let's recap what we've learned in this part of the video. The 2015 D. Lincoln penny is one of the most common coins in circulation. With over 4.4 billion struck, it's not scarce in the traditional sense. Its base composition is zinc with a thin copper plating. It weighs 2.5 grams and is marked by a clean modern design, the Union Shield, meant to represent national unity and strength. But it's the variations, the flaws, the rare die errors and pristine examples, that unlock true value. No, it's not worth $32 million, but yes, it could be worth far more than a cent. And sometimes, that's enough. It sounds absurd. It sounds wild. It sounds too good to be true. That's because it is. Let's be absolutely clear right now, no legitimate auction house, grading service, or professional collector has ever recorded a 2015 D penny selling for anything remotely close to $32 million. In fact, there is no documented case of any modern Lincoln Shield cent from 2010 to present, even in the rarest of grades or with the most dramatic of mint errors, selling for more than a few $100s. And that's being generous, yet this $32 million story refuses to die. It lives in memes, YouTube thumbnails, TikTok clips, and poorly sourced articles. But where did it come from? And why do so many people keep falling for it? Let's pull back the curtain on one of the most persistent coin myths of the internet age. The origin of this $32 million rumor is actually pretty typical of viral misinformation. It began with a combination of misunderstanding and clickbait. Around 2020, several YouTube videos started appearing with titles like, "Rare 2015 penny sold for $32 million." These videos often showed generic images of pennies, added sound effects, included vague stories about a collector in Texas or a secret auction, but they never actually showed proof, no receipts, no grading certificates, no photos of the exact coin, and certainly no verified auction listing. Why? Because the story was fabricated. What likely happened was that someone confused the true stories of older, legitimately rare Lincoln cents, like the 1943 copper penny or the 1909 SVDB in pristine red condition, and slapped that historical rarity onto a modern date like 2015 to generate views. And unfortunately, it worked. These videos racked up millions of views. People shared them in Facebook groups, forwarded them through WhatsApp, reposted them on Reddit, and suddenly the myth became fact in the minds of the casual public. Let's compare it to coins that really have broken the $1 million barrier. One of the most famous Lincoln cents ever sold is the 1943 D bronze penny. That coin wasn't supposed to exist. In 1943, all Lincoln cents were struck in steel coated with zinc to save copper for World War II. But a few bronze planchets from 1942 were accidentally left in the minting machines. They slipped through. Less than 20 examples are known. One sold in 2010 for $1.7 million at a Heritage Auctions event. Then there's the 1909 SVDB Lincoln cent, which is not an error but a key date rarity. Only about 484,000 of these were minted. Combine that with the presence of Victor D. Brenner's prominent VDB initials and you've got a coin that collectors will fight to own. A high-grade MS-67 red 1909 SVDB can command upwards of $50,000 to $80,000 depending on market conditions. Another case, the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent. This coin features an incredibly dramatic doubling on the obverse inscriptions, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date all appear with ghost-like shadows due to misaligned dies. This was a legitimate mint error that made its way into circulation. In MS65RD condition, these can sell for $20,000 to $30,000, and circulated examples still go for several $1,000s. So what do these coins have in common? Rarity. They exist in extremely limited numbers, either due to errors or low original mintage. Historical context. They often coincide with meaningful events, wartime coinage, design transitions, or early mint mistakes. Authentication. These coins are certified by major grading companies, listed in auction catalogs, and tracked in databases. Like PCGS CoinFacts or the NGC Census, the 2015 D penny has none of these traits. There's no design anomaly, no historically significant context, no production mishap on record, and certainly no verified sale at a high-end numismatic event. What it does have is mass availability. Over 4.4 billion were struck. You can walk into virtually any bank, gas station, or supermarket and receive one in change, but the myth of the $1 million modern coin endures for a reason. And the reason is hope. People want to believe that something ordinary could be extraordinary. That buried among the mundane is a treasure. And to be fair, in numismatics, that sometimes happens. But it's never random. It's always traceable. Always verifiable. Here's where it gets risky. Because of this false myth, scammers have started trying to exploit it. Some listings on eBay or other marketplaces feature ordinary 2015 D pennies with prices of $10,000, $100,000, even $1 million. Some even write "error" in the title to trick uninformed buyers. They use blurry photos, vague descriptions, and rely on hype. This is not collecting. This is manipulation. If you want to protect yourself and your money, there are two golden rules in the world of coin collecting: buy the coin, not the story, trust, but verify. Always look for coins that are authenticated and graded by reputable services like PCGS, NGC, or Anax. Avoid listings without clear provenance. Be skeptical of coins claiming astronomical prices without hard proof. And if someone ever says a modern penny is worth $32 million but can't provide auction records or a slabbed photo, walk away. Still, even within the realm of reality, there's real opportunity with the 2015 D. As we explored in Part 2, this coin in MS67 red can sell for $35 to $50, and error coins can go much higher. For something you might already have in your pocket or piggy bank, that's a powerful incentive. And here's something that's often overlooked: modern coins are undervalued today, but may not be tomorrow. As older generations of collectors retire or pass away, a new wave of collectors is beginning to explore modern coins. Registry sets, digital inventories, and population tracking tools are creating demand for top-grade modern examples. Coins like the 2015 D Lincoln Cent in MS68RD are extremely rare and could become high-demand assets for future collectors seeking to complete high-end sets. This is how market value is built, not through fake headlines, but through slow, steady, legitimate interest, backed by data, history, and certified grading. So what's the bottom line? The 2015 D penny is not worth $32 million. Period. But the highest graded versions, especially with mint errors, are genuinely worth $50 to $300 plus, and in the future, possibly more. Collectors should avoid scams, seek proper grading, and rely on verified auction sales. And finally, never underestimate the thrill of finding value in the most unexpected places, like a copper-colored coin sitting quietly at the bottom of your change jar. Let's start with actual auction sales. If you browse the archives of major auction houses, like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections, you'll find records of real-world prices that collectors are paying for 2015 D Lincoln Cents. Not headlines, not rumors, just hard data. Here's an example. A 2015 D Lincoln Shield Cent graded MS68 red by PCGS sold on Great Collections for $200 in 2022. Why? Because out of billions struck, only a tiny handful have achieved that grade. It's an elite condition. Clean surfaces, full strike, perfect luster, no carbon spots, no contact marks. Registry collectors, those who try to build top-ranked sets, will pay premiums to have the finest known examples, another 2015 D penny with a 20% off center error and a strong mint state strike sold for $126 at auction. That's a coin you could potentially find in a bank roll. If you're observant and lucky. Then there are rim cuds, where a portion of the die breaks off and leaves a raised, malformed area on the rim of the coin. A 2015 D penny with a significant cud near Liberty sold for $315. That's over 30,000 times face value. Other examples include struck-through errors, die clashes, retained interior cuds, or partial collar strikes, all of which can fetch anywhere from $50 to $500 plus depending on grade. And I appeal, let me emphasize this again, these aren't errors created by people dropping pennies in toasters or carving them with razors. These are genuine mint-made errors, cataloged and confirmed by professional graders, and that brings us to an important question. How do you get your coin graded? If you think you found a flawless penny or a dramatic error, the first thing you need to do is not clean it. Never, ever clean a coin. Even wiping it with a cloth can cause microscopic scratches that destroy its value. Next, you'll want to compare your coin to verified examples. Use tools like PCGS Coinfax, NGC Coin Explorer, Heritage Auction Archive, eBay sold listings, but only as a casual reference. Not all listings are reliable. Once you think your coin has potential, you can send it to a professional grading company. Here are the main options: PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service; NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company; ANAX, American Numismatic Association Certification Service. Each has submission guidelines. You can submit coins through an authorized dealer or, in some cases, directly after becoming a member. Grading fees vary, typically starting around $20 to $35 per coin, plus shipping and insurance. When you submit, your coin will be assigned a grade, e.g., MS65RD, sealed in a tamper-proof plastic holder, often called a slab, and entered into an online database. This verification drastically increases the trust buyers have when bidding on your coin, but before you spend money on grading, you should ask, is it worth it? If your 2015 D penny is a typical circulated coin with dings, dull surfaces, and no visible error, no, it's not worth grading. But if it's a blazing red, mint-fresh coin with a flawless surface and strong I appeal, maybe, and if it has a legitimate error, absolutely. So, let's say you start looking. What should you be checking for? Luster. Mint state pennies have a distinct shine that looks almost like a cartwheel when you rotate the coin under a light. Strike quality. Is the design sharp and bold? Weak strikes show missing detail, especially in Lincoln's hair and beard. Color. A full, red designation adds value. Copper reacts with air, and over time, turns brown. Red coins are better preserved. Errors. Look for misaligned designs, doubling, cracks, raised blobs, cuds, or pieces missing. Always cross-check with certified examples online. Now, let's zoom out. Because while many people are focused on individual coins, there's a bigger question looming over the Lincoln cent: should the penny even exist anymore? For years now, economists and policy makers have debated whether to eliminate the US cent altogether. Why? Because as of today, it costs the US Mint nearly 2.7 cents to produce a 1-cent coin. That's right, it costs nearly 3 times what it's worth. And with billions minted each year, the losses add up quickly. Other countries have already dropped their lowest denominations. Canada stopped minting the penny in 2012. Australia, New Zealand, and several European nations followed suit long ago. The United States? Still producing billions of pennies annually, but for how long? There are rumors, and they're growing louder, that the penny may be phased out in the next 5 to 10 years. The mint has already stopped producing uncirculated penny rolls for collectors in certain years. Banks are seeing fewer customers request coins in bulk. And major retailers are shifting toward rounded digital pricing or self-checkout systems where the cent becomes irrelevant. So what does that mean for the 2015 D penny, and modern shield cents in general? If the penny is discontinued, demand for Lincoln cents will spike, not just among collectors, but among the public. Prices for top-graded modern pennies, especially those with unique features or early-year design markers like 2010 to 2015 shield issues, could rise significantly. We've seen this before. When Canada discontinued its penny, interest in Canadian cents jumped. Prices surged, briefly, for mint sets, top-grade examples, and early-date copper coins. It's entirely possible that a 2015 D penny you find today, worth a few cents or a few bucks now, could be worth 5x, 10x, or more in a future where the penny is no longer made. In fact, some collectors are already building Lincoln Shield registry sets to prepare for this shift. These sets feature the finest known example of each year and mint mark combination, from 2010 P through present, with an emphasis on color and grade. It's a competitive market, and it's only getting hotter. So don't dismiss the modern penny. While the $32 million rumor may be fantasy, the real opportunity is here, grounded in fact, data, and patient collecting. Whether you're hunting rolls from the bank, digging through pocket change, or building a high-grade set, the 2015 D penny still has plenty to offer. It may be small, but its story, and potential, is far bigger than most people realize. In the final part of this series, we'll wrap it all together. We'll take you on a step-by-step checklist for spotting valuable Lincoln cents in your own home. We'll also explore digital coin tracking, apps for collectors, and how the future of numismatics is evolving fast, with or without the cent. So here we are. After exploring the history, design, minting process, real value, and myths behind the 2015 D Lincoln penny, we come to the part that matters most for you, the viewer. Because let's be honest, all the knowledge in the world means nothing if you don't know what to do with it. This is the part where you take action. Where you go from being a curious listener to a coin detective. Because the truth is, you might already be holding a valuable coin, and just don't know it yet. Let's break it down. Here's your step-by-step checklist to identifying valuable Lincoln Shield cents, especially 2015 D examples, and how to start your own treasure hunt. Step 1. Get proper tools. You don't need fancy equipment to get started. But a few basics will give you a huge advantage. A 10x jeweler's loupe. This magnification helps you spot doubling, die cracks, and tiny mint errors. Digital pocket scale. A genuine 2015 D penny weighs 2.5 grams. If it's under or over significantly, you may have a striking error or planchet anomaly. LED lighting. Bright, clean light helps highlight surface luster and imperfections. Cotton gloves or soft tweezers, to avoid fingerprint oils and scratches. Step 2. Know what to look for when going through your change or coin rolls. Keep an eye out for red coloration. Bright, red coins in excellent shape have higher collector value. Avoid brown or spotted examples unless they have errors. Strike quality. Look at Lincoln's hair, beard, and jacket. Are the lines sharp? Are the letters clean? Weak strikes are less valuable. Mint errors. Here's a quick breakdown of what's worth money. Off-center strikes, 5% to 50%. Cut errors, raised blobs on the rim, die cracks or die chips. Double die, especially in God We Trust, or the date, struck through debris or grease. Misaligned dies or partial collar strikes. If you find any of these and the coin is in mint state, you might be looking at something worth far more than a penny. Step 3. Store and protect your finds. If you find a potential error coin or high-grade example, place it immediately in a 2x2 coin flip or a non-PVC coin holder. Avoid cleaning it. Never polish or wipe it. Keep it in a cool, dry environment away from humidity and air. Even tiny spots of oxidation or human contact can ruin a coin's value. Step 4. Research and compare. Use online resources to compare your finds. PCGS Coin Facts. View high-resolution photos of graded coins, price guides, and auction history. NGC Explorer, similar to PCGS. Great for market values and certified populations. Heritage Auctions. Search for past auction prices of rare or error pennies. eBay sold listings. Helps you see what collectors are actually paying for similar coins. Study known varieties. Know the difference between true errors and post-mint damage. Step 5. Consider grading. If you believe you found a flawless or rare example, submit it to PCGS NGC NACS. Make sure to document your coin before sending. Consider if the potential value outweighs the grading and shipping fees. Step 6. Build your set or start selling. If you're in it for the long haul, begin assembling a Lincoln Shield cent registry set, a year-by-year collection of the highest grades you can find. This becomes your personal coin legacy. Or, if you find something valuable and want to cash out, listed at a reputable auction site. Always include high-quality photos, proof of grading, if applicable, and detailed error descriptions. Step 7. Stay updated and learn more. Modern coin collecting is no longer just books and binders. It's digital, social, and constantly evolving. Use apps like PCGS CoinFacts mobile app CoinSnap for identifying coins through your camera, Nemista, a great global coin catalog. Reddit's r/coins and YouTube coin hunting channels for community tips and new discoveries. These tools allow you to stay ahead of trends, ask questions, and share your finds with fellow collectors around the world. And don't ignore social media. YouTube itself has built entire channels around live penny hunts, bankroll searches, and coin grading experiments. You don't just watch the story, you become part of it. Now let's circle back one last time. Yes, the 2015 D penny is a common coin. And no, it's not worth $32 million. But the true story of this coin is not a joke. It's a modern case study of how value is created in the real world. It teaches us about rarity versus condition, about myths versus facts, about hype versus historical truth. And most importantly, it teaches us to look a little closer. To stop and think, before we dismiss something as ordinary, because sometimes, the most overlooked objects, like a single cent, carry more depth, more stories, and yes, even more money, than anyone ever expected. So the next time someone says, it's just a penny, you'll know better. It could be a learning moment. It could be the start of a collection. It could be your next profitable find. Or maybe, it'll just be the moment that opens your eyes to a hobby that millions of people around the world enjoy, where patience, curiosity, and knowledge are rewarded in a very real way. Whether you're a first-time searcher or a seasoned collector, remember, every great collection started with just one coin. So grab your change jar, flip that penny, and start your search. Who knows what you'll find?